All right, good people. How are you? All right, I'll get on started here. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope it's working out for you. It is pretty good for me because we unthawed a little bit in Chicago. It's not as cold. We appreciate anything above 30. It is much appreciative, much appreciated. So can't complain. It's supposed to be like that for the entire week too, for next week. So you can pull out your shorts if you like. But anyway, I got a couple of things I'll mention today, and one of them is for the YouTube channels. You have a YouTube channel, you will need to make sure that you mark your settings to say if it's kid friendly or not, if it's made for children. Everyone should have gotten an email. Even if you pull up on your page, you'll get some type of notification. So go in there and make those changes so you don't have any problems. It could affect a lot of people for many reasons. I'm just hoping it doesn't. Um, and I guess because if your money comes from there and you're concerned about how you're going to be affected, then yeah, I um, I get you. Um, but I do what I do because I enjoy doing it, and also I appreciate those who do support the channel. That will help me do some different things for the channel. Bring in some guests, also to um, purchase their merchandise. You don't want to ask someone to come on, be a guest, and you can't give them any money because truly I cannot afford to give anyone their $50 an hour, whatever they charge. I'm just telling you that now. I don't have it, and I don't ever see that really happening unless it's something I do full time and under some type of sponsor. But for right now, this is just what I do from my heart, and I take the proceeds and I put it back out there. You know, um, it used to be a joke about the wine fund, and which kind of worked out because I was able to start. I started off with $10 bottle of wines, then I graduated to $15 bottle of wines, and I really appreciate that because you earn your money. You don't have to give it. You can come to YouTube for free and come and watch people run their mouth, turn it off, and go on about your daily. So I do appreciate all those who contribute. And I shouted out the first contributor of the show, um, which is now 2 Saturdays ago. I didn't get the notification right away. So the show was over, and then I shouted him out. It's a him. I shouted him out last week. And because it was his government name, I did not say his name. I just said his initials. So if you're listening, thank you again. Really appreciate you. What I'd like to do is start going on Facebook Live to get some more traffic in because there's a lot of women that's out there that enjoy conversation. And I'm not looking for conversation to be who's right and who's wrong. Um, I do have my little segment I call the, which, I don't know why I did that, but I enjoy it. The judge and jury. Um, I do know why, I just remember why. Because a lot of people laugh at the way I come up with ideas as far as judging it. Because I just say, hey, judge it and keep going, go on about your daily. So I have my little judge and jury little segment at the end of the show, and I'll continue that. I do enjoy it, and I hope you all enjoy it as well. Now, what I'll mention today, again, like I said, I mentioned the video with the settings. Make sure you have a YouTube channel. Go in there and make those settings the way it's supposed to be. Please do. Also, I will mention that there were some teenagers in Illinois I'm not sure if it's just Chicago. I really didn't hear all of the story, but I know they're in Illinois. And they went to court about daylight savings time. They did not like, they didn't see a need for it to be in effect anymore. They're like, okay, it's enough. We don't need this. Now I'm gonna tell you, I enjoy it, and I'm gonna tell you why I enjoy it. It's dear to my heart because I know when the closer it gets to spring, it's time for vacation for me. Because I used to go on a cruise every year. And I think probably about 12 years in a row. I think about 12 years in a row. So it's near and dear to my heart. So I know when it's time to change that clock, man, it is vacation time for me. I go to work every day, don't call off. I was able to, once I changed the way I ate, start learning more about, what was good for the body and what was not, changed the way I ate and everything. I didn't have all those flus. Now I did have, if I got in contact with the virus, it would attack me like a person having just a regular cold. So I still can go to work, blow my nose, a little groggy, but that's it. It never really went past that. Um, when I feel it coming on, what I would do is go to bed early. So if I get maybe like 10, about good 10 to 12 hours, oh, I'm good. As long as I get in the bed early like that, I have no problem. It really worked out for me. So, again, I look forward to daylight savings time just because of that. Now I'm not able to do that at the current moment. Plus, I have different interests. That was a decade ago. I did that for like 12 years straight. Now it's time to start hitting some cities. I got to get back to Dallas. Um, One of the programs that I support, which is I always get the letters wrong, but I know I have it right today. GSRN Radio is an internet radio station with DJ Music, and I'm going to have to put that in the chat room. Remind me. And he just opened, well, he's opening a club, and we're gonna have some jazz going on, serve some food, and that's in South Carolina. So I'm like, okay, I got to put that on my list. And then New Orleans, I wanted to go back there. I haven't been there in a little while. I used to travel there a couple of times with my friends. I want to get back there. And it wasn't for Mardi Gras. I never got into all of that. You know, that's a little bit out my league. Y'all can go ahead and get crazy, drunk, naked, and do all them things. I didn't go there for that. I went there for other reasons. Uh, so most of my trips will be for, um, just to get to enjoy the city and enjoy the people that's there. So I'm hoping to be able to do that in the near future. A couple more spots I have on the map that I want to go travel to. And but it's back to the daylight savings time. They're waiting just for two people to vote on it. So technically, it's passed. So when we change our clocks this spring, when we spring forward, we never have to change our clocks again in Illinois. So that's kind of cool. You know, it had its history. We good. We'll have to have it again. So just wanted to mention that as well. And then a few days ago, I'm not for sure if it was Friday or Thursday, but it was a few days ago that we had a lottery here in Illinois because the cannabis shops are opening up since they made it legal January 1st. And it's going to be recreational marijuana. Isn't that something? Now, how that's going to work out, I can see people having to have some security, and I mean some armed guards. I'm not talking about no flashlight folk. We need some professional folks. It may not go that deep. I don't know. I'm thinking so. What do you think, Miss Ruby? And greetings to you.
Greetings, greetings. Sorry, I was totally distracted in the last 30 seconds because I noticed that DJ Music actually came out of the shadows. I was taunting him on Wednesday, being like, well, if you watch, why don't you just say hi, right? Like, I'm there. We want to see you say hi. He's like, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. So he came out of the shadows. So I was like,
Whoop, whoop.
and then I was just writing that too, right? They're like, what do you think, Ruby? Oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to leave the comment, but.
Welcome, DJ Music. Speaking of the devil, and not in a bad way, I just
Mhm.
mentioned that I'm supporting your channel, your internet radio station, and I have a good time there. I didn't mention that, but I do have a great time there. You can check DJ Music out on Wednesdays and Sundays. Those are days that I show up anyway. Wednesdays and Sundays. And for us, we're 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And check him out.
Mhm.
And I will put the link in the chat room and at the end of the
Yeah.
video as well.
It's a great show, y'all. Like I stay entertained the whole time, and not just because Shar is there, right? Although Shar is definitely an amazing addition. But yeah, no, the show's really good. Y'all pick some really great topics. Things that I haven't heard of people speak about. Like it's not repetitive nonsense because everyone's talking about it. You
Hmm.
bring different opinions and insights and make me think. I gotta Google some. I have to Google terms. I'm like, really? How have I never heard of that word? Like I've heard of everything at least once, but no. So yeah, it's definitely entertaining and hilarious too. Some great timing with the music, like the Buffalo Soldier thing. Cannot get over that. That was such. It was in my head. I was like Buffalo Soldier because what y'all were talking about, and then the fact that that started playing, I was like, oh, that's crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
he's
definitely check
great.
it out. He's definitely awesome.
Yeah.
Um, But what were we talking about? We're talking about the last thing I remember having a thought about was the cruise, and this idea of the fact that you go on these cruises, for 12 years straight. I'm like, the only cruise I've ever been on is when they have a party on a boat. They call it a cruise, but it's like really only an hour, and they go around the harbor a few times. Like that's the only cruise I've ever. I've never been on a real cruise, like ever. Um,
Oh, okay. You're gonna have
yeah.
to check it out. My experience, it's and a lot of people are like, oh no, it's not. But I'm stopping people mind before it even goes there. It's you're safe to go even by yourself on a cruise because
Okay.
everything is just right there. Um, you're not wandering into anything, and that security system is amazing. I happened to get a peep of it. I could not believe it. I mean, it was like maybe twice as exquisite as casinos. It was a bad mamma jamma. I tell you, it was no joke. I looked at those cameras and those dudes, they and the amount of people they have watching the cameras. I mean, they're looking at everything. So I'm like,
Mm.
wow, this is so cool. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. And I say a lot of people are like, well, I don't know how to swim. Well, I still don't know how to swim, but that never stopped me because I wasn't going swimming. I was going to be on the ship. That was what I'm looking for.
Mhm.
And it's something to do almost 24 hours, maybe about 20 hours, really something to do. 4 hours, not so much because you got to get some sleep at some time. But it's a great experience. I think so.
I mean, it always seemed awesome, like in theory, or like when you see other people do it, right? And you're like, oh, I wish I could go on a cruise, but I guess maybe because in order for me to get to half of the places that the cruises start off from would involve me having to fly there or drive like a day, so maybe they're just not as easily accessible for me. So I'm like, well, if I'm gonna have to fly anyway, I might as well, plan a whole vacation around wherever the hell I land instead of from there. Then I get on this boat and then I do a bunch of stuff and then, you know, I don't know, like I don't know what the limitation has been. Maybe because like I've only been to the States and to Jamaica. That's it. Like
Okay.
yeah, and like I only visit family mostly. Like mostly I go to the States because I have family there. Go to Jamaica because I have family there. I don't really, like I've gone to very few places. Mostly when I was a kid, my mom would bring us like on a vacation every year to somewhere. But most of those places were in America. Now that I think about it, like I've been to Miami, I've been to Orlando, I've been to Clearwater. That's all Florida. So I don't know. I guess we weren't really all that adventurous. Like Dominican or Cuba or just cool places. Like I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't know. Like I
Mhm.
think that I'm on the tip sort of where you are though, where it's like I wouldn't mind seeing like cities, like I don't know, like Italy or Spain, or Paris. It's just these big kind of tourist trappy kind of cities that everyone talks about.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Eating the food. I mean, that being said, though, I would never actually do it. I don't like planes. No,
Oh boy.
like I don't like planes. I am so I don't mind flying. I mind dropping out of the sky and dying and having no control over that. So that's my issue there. But also like I don't know, I'm so picky with everything. Like I think everything is filthy. I'm such like a germaphobe. It's like it sounds nice in theory, you
Okay.
know, less in practice. Like
Yeah,
maybe that's the problem.
yeah, a little bit too much thought into it, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. It's a little bit too much thought into it, but it is a great time.
Hmm.
It's something you can, just try it once, and if you've done just the hour, 2 hours, if you enjoyed that, just imagine I can actually go see some things, um,
Hmm.
sleep, and it's the best sleep you ever heard. I mean, had. I mean,
Really?
that's some sleep. Oh, yes. And I've never been one to just nap, but you
Hmm.
can actually nap at any time. If you lay down, your body says, "Oh, this feels so nice." And you will go to
Nice.
sleep.
I love that. That's awesome. Like, imagine that world. I can't even imagine that world where I just lie down in a bed and then my body goes, "Oh, it's sleep time," and now I'm sleeping. Like, really? Maybe it's the boat, like the motion of the boat as you're going over like the sea that like kind of rocks you to sleep or something.
It's something, it is, it's beautiful, I must tell you. And then I've even like sometimes just pick a time, like I'm going to go take me a nap just because I want to. And you go find your little lawn chair, find your little spot,
Mm.
and just automatically. And that's another thing. I've yet to finish a book. I don't care how
Oh,
small the book is. I can start reading it, and it reads me.
really?
I just I just go to sleep. Your head just. I'm like, this is wrong. Now maybe next time I'll stand up, and maybe I can get through a book. But as far as just trying to just relax and read, it
Hmm.
doesn't happen. Not for me anyway.
Okay, what about all of these activities I've heard about on cruises? Because you hear like you obviously, I guess you could fish off the boat, but then you always hear about things like they do little soiree type things, get-togethers at nights, like, and they have different events. Like, do you go to those things?
Um, they have a lot of stuff. I mean, it's something for everyone. They have like for kids.
Hmm.
I think maybe like from age 2 to maybe 10, and then they branch off from 11 to 18 or something like that. They have cigar bars, um, the gambling, which is like the casino,
Hmm.
um, shopping. Um, what is that? Crocheting, um, games, karaoke. What else?
Wow.
Comedy. Um, like their
Hmm.
little Broadway shows.
But they have
Um,
Broadway shows.
yeah, they have like a little Broadway show. Um, dancing of all type of dancing. I've been on a ship where they had square dancing, except for stepping. Now I think what I'm going to have to do is bring that to the ship. That's
Mhm.
the only thing I haven't seen yet is stepping. And
Mhm.
one thing, if you have just some type of talent, you actually can be hired and go and teach that, and that pays for your trip.
Oh
They'll give you a
wow.
small fee as well, and they would feed you. Oh yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, that would be cool. I mean,
Hmm.
I can't step, but I think we all know someone in the chat room who can. Wink, wink, nudge,
Hmm.
nudge.
And I'm a little rusty, but hey, I'll practice.
There you go. Right?
Yeah, but it's really nice, and I mean, pretty much whatever you think of, they have it. Um, so you that's the thing, you'll never get bored because a lot of people are like, I'm going to get bored. No, you won't get bored unless you just want to be, because there's
Right.
just too many things to do. And that's where I learned about wine because I had to go to the wine testings because I thought I didn't like wine. Every
Really?
time I tried different wines, I didn't like it. I'm like, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do since they have it. And say I was just cheap. I had the money. I was just cheap. So man, just don't say it. I didn't want to give them $20 and sample some wine. I just, for whatever reason, I'm thinking I'm gonna give you $20. I'm not gonna like none of this stuff. I'm gonna be mad and I can't get my money back.
Mhm.
So I said I went to two of them on this. It was the same cruise. So I went to the first one. I'm like, and it doesn't take me long to know if I like something. I don't have to think about it and and It's like as soon as it touched my palate, like it, hated
Mhm.
it, like it, hate
Mhm.
it. So it doesn't take me long. So I'm like, don't like it, don't like it. Don't. Hey, now what is this?
Mhm.
So I've learned that I like Spanish wines. Um, I love red wines, and there's a couple of wines I like, but I kind of just lean toward the red because it has less sugar in
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I prefer overall. I prefer red wines. I actually really like really really dry wines if I'm gonna drink wine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or rosés. White wine has never been my thing. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't really appreciate overall fruity flavors. Like when you start getting to the sweet and the fruitiness, and it's not really my thing. I really like the really dry. Like if you were drinking this warm, it would taste like urine type wines. Like, but when they're really cold, it has like just that musky, almost like bitterish, but in a good way kind of flavor. I don't know. That's my kind of wine. Like my very favorite brand of wine, and I'm not a wine drinker, mind you.
Hmm.
Um, but my very favorite brand of wine is called Wolf Blass.
Hmm.
Um, and they make, and I mean, they do make wines in different categories, right? So if you can't afford really expensive wine, then you can get a cheaper bottle. But I don't know, something about their flavorings I really appreciate. But of course, I can't tell you anything like, oh, well, it was an oaky undertone with an overt sign of, musk and I don't know. Like, really, like, I don't know all that
Okay.
stuff. It tastes good. I
Right. I like
don't
it. I
know.
don't like it. That's it.
Right. It's good. It's good. They make a white wine that I can even tolerate. So, they good. Wolf Blast. Try them out.
Yeah, but I would say, and one of them I wanted to go to as far as a cruise. It was just so expensive. Um,
Mhm.
I had a choice, and I chose Hawaii instead of the Tom Joyner cruise.
Mm.
Um, I know that ship was rocking with all the talent that's on there, and
Mm.
knowing too that a cruise is fun anyway, and then all that talent on a cruise, it would have been team no sleep. It
Mhm.
really would have been. And I had to
Mhm.
decide which one I was going to do. So I saved 2 years, save up so I can go on to Hawaii. Because my friend, she had a goal. She had wanted to go to Hawaii, and she said she never could find anyone to go with her. So I had thought about it, and after I, thought about it, I said, "I tell you what, I'll go ahead and go to Hawaii. We'll save up for 2 years, and we'll go."
Mm,
And that's what I chose to do. Hmm.
okay. Okay. And now the question is, when it comes to Hawaii, did you ever have one of those pigs that they roast whole and like on the spit and they rotate it and you get to do that whole thing? Did you ever do one of those? I guess that's like what at a luau or whatever. Did you ever do that?
I did the luau, but I was not participating in any pig anything.
Okay, okay. I know black folk. If black folk listen, we either love our pork or no, we do not touch pork. Like it's we're so polarized, right? Either you love pork or you're not messing with it. It's the filthiest animal. Like I don't know what it is. It's the strangest thing, and it's the only meat that polarizes people that way, right? Like I'm the I'm sitting there like my mouth is like watering, like, oh, it must be so juicy and delicious. And you're like, oh no, pork, touching that nastiness. What's wrong with you, right? Like,
Yeah, and it's not even for no religious reason. I actually am allergic to it, so
oh
I
my
enjoyed the
god.
taste of it when I had it, and then the what was going on in my body, I'm like, oh, I can't eat this.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Was so you developed the allergy then later in life?
Well, it was, I think I was 7 or 8, one
Oh.
of them ages. I don't know which one it was, but it was
Mm,
wonderful going down. I've never
mm,
pork chops.
mm,
It was
right?
delicious.
Mm, like,
Pork
oh,
skins. It
mm,
was delicious.
right? Mm, mm. Now I'm
Oh
thinking to the
well.
jerk pork I had last week. Like, god damn. But yeah, no, it's funny because my mom is really the one who got me like with my love of pork, right? She loved pork, everything you're saying. And then she was, let me see, it was honestly around my age now. And all of a sudden, like it was like she would literally her throat would start getting itchy and start closing, her skin, throwing out all kinds of crazy symptoms. And she couldn't put it together with the pork because she'd been eating pork her whole life. But no,
Okay.
come to find out, no, she developed a pork allergy and also a shellfish allergy, which
Oh.
it's funny because that's another thing. Me and my mom. If my mom didn't like seafood, I never would have eaten it because my father hated any type of seafood, except for fish and chips. Any other seafood, like no, couldn't stand the smell, couldn't cook it in the house, nothing. So my mom loved seafood, which is why I love seafood. Like we had special like mommy daughter dates of going to this one particular restaurant. Doesn't exist anymore. It used to be called Dick's Last Resort, and they made the best plate of mussels on the planet. It was just so good, and that was our thing. And then all of a sudden, she developed this allergy. It's like, how do you develop an allergy at 35 to be allergic to things you've literally been eating your whole life without a problem? But that
Wow.
was it. Yeah. So, and so now, you think like 15, 20 years now. Nope, not another drop. And I'm like, I hope that does not happen to me. Like, just in case, I should start like loading up on the flavors, every flavor of shellfish and pork imaginable, just in case. Because God forbid, what if gets taken away from me? Oh, wouldn't be able to take it.
Divine swine, as Don Teasy says.
Mm. He's a clown. Divine swine.
Too much for me.
Hmm. But I do not disagree. I'm sorry. It is like it's right up there in my top favorite things. Like I'm trying to imagine a world without bacon. Like I'm not saying your world is sad, but I just say it's a little bit less bright without bacon in it. Like bacon is such a happy food. Like,
I know the commercials are bacon, 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 bacon,
exactly.
bacon, 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 bacon. Yeah, yeah, give me bacon. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's so true. It's basically just glorified pork fat, but nope. I will pay $6 for the good cut of bacon pack. Like I don't know why. It's ridiculous, but I will. I can't even lie. Yep.
Shame.
I know.
Yeah, so yeah, that was it for me as far as with the swine. I can't eat it. And then that's another thing too with cruises. They feed you all the time. The funny
Right.
thing is people, and I ain't gonna say what kind of people. I'm just gonna hint around that some of your
Mhm.
cousins, they get kind of excited. All they can eat, they get a little excited, go overboard, and then get sick that first night and trying to figure out what's going on.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. A lot of people on their first cruise they'll overeat and they'll have a
Mhm.
rough first night. So
Mm.
that's something you just, I advise you just don't do it. The food will be there tomorrow.
Right. Calm down. It'll still be all you can eat tomorrow. We promise.
Yeah. So they have lobster nights and ice carvings and chocolate
Ooh.
shows and what else do they do?
Wait,
trying to think what
chocolate
they do.
shows. What?
Yeah, they make different things out of chocolate. Have a chocolate fountain, um, all kind of animals, shaped like well, chocolate shaped animals.
Like, yeah.
Um, what else they have? Um,
Huh.
I think they do that with the fruit too. They make little decorations with fruit.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
see, ice, fruit, chocolate. I think do they use anything else? Uh, I don't recall, but yeah, they got a lot of stuff going on. That's one thing you'll never get bored. You'll find something. Just keep keep walking. There's something.
Right.
Like, what is that? All kind of music. Um, what I would
Huh.
normally do is because some of the folks they drink and they enjoying themselves and they don't not really dancing. So I've gotten to a point where I would actually give the DJ a list of songs to play,
Mm.
and so he played my playlist, and I would go out on the dance floor and dance by
Nice.
myself, and then people watching me and they're like, okay, well maybe I'll dance.
Right?
So do that for a few hours, and it's a lot of fun.
You are a brave soul. I don't know very many people who would go onto a dance floor all by themselves and just start dancing. Like, people are normally like, they're always waiting for, even if they're dying to dance, they came here to dance, they can't wait to dance, or no one else is dancing, and they'll sit there and just hope and pray some couple, someone gets out there so they can edge themselves onto the corner and try to hide and not look too obvious until it fills up. But you're like, no, I'm dancing tonight. Here, play these songs.
Yeah, sure enough. Sure
That's
enough.
awesome.
So you would have a good time. So I hope that maybe you can figure out how to get there, whether it's the plane, train, automobile, whatever you do. Get to the pier, get on that ship, and sail on, sister.
I figure it out. It's like on my bucket list. I know it's sad, but like no, it's on my bucket list to go on a real cruise. Like I had friends. I went to the rich white school though for high school,
Uh-huh.
but I had friends who like every year had been going on cruises since they were like 7 and 8 years old, and I'm like, seriously? Like you just go on
Wow.
cruise your friend, yeah, they've been going and they go like yearly, and that's one of their
Hmm.
family vacations. Like that's their Christmas family vacation. And then they would have other family vacations throughout the year, and I'm like, damn, I
Must
don't
be
understand that
nice.
life. Right? Like
Must be
okay.
nice. I have to save up all year and put in my vacation time so I can get ready for March and April because that's how sister had to do it.
Right? and we get like, well, I get 1 week. I would wish we could go for two, but my mom could not afford to take more than those 5 days off. That's all the vacation she got. She couldn't miss one paid day. And then a lot of times we were saving up to drive somewhere. So like we would save up and then we would drive to say Chicago or to Buffalo or to somewhere like I said in the warmer places like Florida. Visit family in Brooklyn or North Carolina. Like we were always, but we would save up to do that because you gotta rent a car and then you gotta pay for gas money and you gotta be able to feed yourself and all of that was like more than enough stuff to save up for it. You know what I mean? That to try
Yeah.
to get in the budget, let alone when I think about the cost of getting to Florida and then
Hmm.
from there the cost of the cruise. Like we didn't
Yeah.
have all that.
Yeah.
We were not independently wealthy.
Yeah. It's something, and it took me a while to get there to even to find something I can actually do.
Mhm.
And it does take planning, saving. It takes all of that. Now, one of the young ladies had mentioned in the chat room that she'll never go on a Carnival cruise again. Um, well, it is a
Mm.
cheaper cruise. They had it where you can be just 18 years old and drink. So a lot of people, and there were a lot of white people, they would go and they get sloppy drunk, and it wasn't a pretty sight.
Mm.
Um, so they finally changed it to you're 21 years old, up the limit, the age limit. But it still was an issue because everything was still cheap. You had your food was cheap. Um, they had a lot of issues with the ship a lot of times, and it was such a young crowd that it was. Um, I'm not going to say violent, but it was a little hostile. I'm told.
Mm.
So that was one place that I'm like, if I don't have the money, because you can go for like $300 or $400. I'm like, I'll just save, wait till I get $1,000 and go. That's okay.
Right.
Let me use another cruise line. So I never used that cruise line. I only used Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. Those are the only two cruise lines I was using.
Okay.
Yeah, and they did pretty good. They finally had stopped the smoking. They had designated areas for smoking, and then some cruise lines decided, okay, no smoking at all. And it really helped a lot of us because some of us just couldn't handle it.
Mm.
You had so many people that were smokers that just didn't work out for us.
Mhm. Man, well, I'm glad I quit because I tell you that there's no way that like the fact that if I could smoke or not was like a
Hmm.
major deciding factor in everything I did when I was a
Yeah.
smoker. Like
Hmm.
if I could not smoke for like a day, like 24 hours, I wasn't going. Let alone for however long a cruise is. Like you want me to not just quit smoking? No, not going. Mm-mm. Ain't gonna happen. They're gonna have to, they're gonna kick me off of this cruise, but we're on a ship. So how are they gonna do it? But they're gonna kick me off because I'm gonna smoke. I'll tell you, I'll find somewhere to be. But I am gonna smoke. It might be 4 o'clock in the morning, something. There's no way I'm not gonna make it. I wouldn't make it. Like I'm feeling the tension now, and I quit smoking like in 2016, and I'm still like, how dare you? How can you stop me? Right? Like,
Oh
but
boy.
but I get it though at the same time, right? Because now like
Yeah.
one of my neighbors smokes and I can the way that it smells when you're a non-smoker is very different than when you're a smoker. When you're a smoker and someone else is smoking, you smell it and it's almost like, mm, I should go for a smoke. Like that smells good. Like it smells good to you because you're a smoker, right? So it like it's like almost like smelling a cake to some extent, right? Ooh, it reminds
Oh,
you.
okay.
I could do that too. Yeah. So it doesn't smell terrible to you when you're a smoker. Um, like the smell itself, qualitatively, is the same. It's just your brain picks it up differently. Whereas in now, it smells like death to me, right? Like it's not a pleasant smell at all. So when they're smoking, I'm like, close the window. I can't breathe, right? But like now, so
Uh-huh.
now I kind of I get it. I didn't used to get it. I guess.
Uh-huh.
Now I get it. Now I understand what non-smokers like. what their issue always was, as far as like dude, I'm nowhere near you. I went down to the street, hiding from everyone to have a smoke, and you're going to complain about smelling smoke? Like, shut up. You're just whining. Like that's how I felt, because that's what it's like, dude.
Right.
I was a really overly considerate smoker. Like, I was really considerate. So I'm like, I would hate when people did that, but now I get it. Like, if someone's smoking, like, way, like, they don't have to be anywhere near me. They could be like,
Hmm.
like 2 blocks away, and I can smell it, like, a lot, like it's right here. So it's like, now I get that, it's such an overwhelming smell for everyone else, but I didn't get it back then. I really didn't. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They changed the chemicals that they were putting in there, and I could even tell you the year. I think it was. It was 87. Because I'm thinking I graduated 85, 86. I think it was in 1987. I think whatever they put in there, it just it was a killer. Because it would cut
Mm,
my breath off. All the other times I can just like, ugh, walk past and then keep going. But now
mm-hmm,
just to get a whip of it after 87, it would just cut my breath off. So it's like I'm inhaling and all of a sudden, like I can't get in the air. So I don't know what they put in there. My lungs say, oh no, you're not supposed to inhale this. And it would just
mm-hmm.
stop. So I don't know what that chemical is, but they have changed it because it
It
wasn't
might
like that
be.
before.
You know what? I mean, there's 5,000 chemicals in cigarette smoke, including antidepressants. For people who don't know, yes, you are smoking an antidepressant every time you pick one up,
Wow. Thanks for
right?
that information. Never heard about that.
It's so detrimental. I know no one has. That's the crazy part about it. It's all readily available information, but no one would think that. So they don't look for it. But another thing that's in cigarettes is formaldehyde. The stuff that they use to preserve bodies. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, so that's also in cigarettes. Literally, they put it in there on purpose. And the reason why they do that is because this embalming fluid, basically, what it does is it makes you less reactive to the smoke, which means it's easier to start smoking. Because, like, well, no, you wouldn't know, you're not a smoker. So when you first ever have a cigarette, right, you're coughing your lungs off, and it's a horrible feeling. And you probably made yourself sick and said never again. And then you picked up
Hmm.
another one and tried again, obviously, if you became a smoker. But it takes you a while to get to a place where you could smoke a lot of them. You have to literally build up your body's tolerance, and in essence, you have to build up. You have to tear down your own body's defense system, and that happens slowly over time from smoking a cigarette. Um, what embalming fluid does is it makes all of the you have little hairs that line like your nose and your lungs and everything, and that's why you'll cough if something's there to irritate those hairs, right? And what it does is it makes those hairs
Hmm.
lie down. So now you're breathing in, toxic fumes you shouldn't be breathing in, but those hairs are not even standing up. So therefore, they're not going to make you cough, which means you'll get a smoother ride, and then you'll be like, oh, that's not so bad. I could have another one in an hour instead of tomorrow. So you smoke more often, which means you have to buy more cigarettes, which means they profit. Like, the tobacco companies are foul, very foul.
Wow. I didn't even know
Mm-hmm.
about that. That's
Mm-hmm.
awful.
Right?
I'm going to mention this to for Dantes. He had asked me to expound on the flash dancing, the mob flash dance. You remember when that was a big thing where people just gather around, they
Mm-hmm.
just start dancing.
Yes,
They
it's
started.
my
They
favorite thing
started that.
ever. Yes.
They started that on the cruises. So um, you sign up if you wanted to be a part of it. So I would sign up, and we'll learn a dance, and we would go in different places throughout the ship and just act like do 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 do, and they give us a T-shirt, so we know who our folks are. But you get to know the people, as you practice
Right.
every day, and then you just burst out and you start dancing, and it was just so much fun.
That is
So
so
that's
cool.
what
You've
that was
been in a
about.
flash. Oh my God, you've been in a flash mob. You are the coolest person I know now. Like, seriously. You don't understand how much I love the flash mob. Like, I think it is the coolest thing ever to like be walking down the street. I wish one would break out around me. Like I do. Like I wish one would, so I could be like, oh, guys, look, and like record it. Like I, it's so cool. That is amazing. How long do you practice to like get this down?
Let's see. I think we did 4 days, and then we would do that a couple of times, and then we learn a new one, and we practice that for 4 days, and then we went around the ship for another couple of days and did that particular one. Because no, most of the cruises I did were 2 weeks. Anything less
Okay.
than that just didn't get it for me. I want to feel like I left home.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, about right. You practice 4 days, dance for two, learn a new one, practice 4 days, and then go around the ship another 2 days.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. I'm so envious for real. Like I'm not even saying I'm so envious. Like that is awesome. Like that
That's
is so
why I
epic.
learned. That's why I learned a fist bump because I'm not really one to shake hands. Uh, so I used to always do the fist bump, pump with people because they'll notice, they'll remember you, especially because there's not a lot of black people. I mean, we do ship, go on different cruises, but we kind of stand out because it's not a lot of us. So they remember, like, oh, I remember her. She was dancing. That was cool. And then I put my fist up, and we did a little bump, and there you go.
Yep. You don't know where people's hands have been. I feel you on that. Like especially because your hands, like you do things with your hands. Like it's not like it's like an elbow or something where you might have leaned it against something, but like your hands touch all kinds of stuff. You touch stuff that you don't even think of the fact that you touched. Oh, there was a
Yeah.
itch in your nose, and you weren't picking your nose, but there was an itch in your nose that you scratched just now, and then if it's guy, he scratches his jug. Like you just do things with your hands without thinking about it all day, and then I see you randomly. I don't know what you just did with your hands 5 seconds ago, but I'm supposed to want to touch your hands. And now your hands feel a little bit clammy. And I wonder, why are they clammy? What were you touching that they feel slightly wet to the touch? But then I can't be like a jerk about it and wipe my hand off, which is what I really want to do. So now I just have to sit there and hold my hand and not touch anything that I own until I can wash my hand. It's a whole thing. So, no, I totally feel that. So, so from there, the important question is, so you started doing the fist bump. So who taught you the fist bump? Like, do this instead of just being ignorant and refusing to put your hand out. I don't see your hand outstretched for a handshake. Yeah, you can't do that. So like,
It was someone on the ship. I'm not for certain who it was, but it was someone. I don't know if he worked there, as he was the cruise director or the assistant cruise director. He's one of the two. I don't remember, and I know it was a guy.
mm-hmm,
And he started it, and I just picked it up from there and just continued. Like, this will work for me,
mm-hmm.
and been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been doing about a good 7 years. Got a little late, but hey, I learned it, and I've been using it since.
Hey, that's smart. I mean, I just try not to know people, and then I don't ever have to see them or let them touch me in any way. But like that, your way is better. Your way is better. I like that. So I don't have to seem like an antisocial jerk. Oh, okay, that could work too. I guess.
Yeah. Yes, that's how you do.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean,
Yeah. It's a lot of things, I'm just not very traditional in some things. So, you know, if I sneeze and someone says, God bless you, I'll
mm,
tell them, God bless them too. And
mm.
then some of them I would tease. I'm like, so you waited until I sneeze to say God bless you. So what if I didn't sneeze? So you don't really care nothing about me, do you? Oh, so I have to sneeze for you to think about me. Oh, okay, it's like that. So I do that.
Do you know where that comes from, though? Why people say God bless you after you sneeze?
I heard a couple of reasons. Which one you have?
Mm. So my favorite one that I've heard is that they used to believe that when you sneeze, it was your soul trying to escape your body. So
Oh
when they would
Lord.
say "God bless you," it would shove your soul back in.
All righty then. These stories are getting wilder and wilder.
Right? It's like, really?
Because I and
That's
sometimes I would ask, I'm like, well, what do you say if I pass gas? What do you say to that? That's what I want to know.
God damn you. See, no, it'll work. It'll work. There's a theme, right? God bless you. God damn you. Yeah, no, I see this now. I'm starting to see the connection.
Yeah, I'm like, so what if I cough? What are you gonna say with that? I just want to know. You know, all these things are just natural. So, what are you gonna say to all of that? I just want to
Then
know.
you just go, God, right? Like it just depends. The joy of God.
Uh-uh.
Hey, I can use the Lord's name in vain in so many original and creative ways. Trust me. Right? You just give me an opportunity. I could find a way. Um, don't let my pastor mother hear this. I'll never tell her. It's okay.
Oh. Uh-uh. did, did you have because I can talk about cruises all day. Did you have
Mm.
anything you want to mention that's going on, any topics or whatever?
I feel like I did, but that's normally why I tell you in advance when I come across them. So that way we're not in this position right now
I
where
mean, it's
I can't
okay.
remember.
I can bring something up. I just want to know because I don't want to just have a list and go down and then you wanted to say something.
Okay, no, you go. And then if I remember, I'll say later when I remember.
Oh, okay. There's a story I found out yesterday on Yahoo News about a real estate heiress that was acquitted of murder, and she was accused of killing her. I guess you could say baby daddy because they weren't married. She had a couple of kids by them, and the guy, he's a great looking guy, and they didn't do, wasn't getting along well, and had a bad breakup. Um, Story says that she lured him to the house to, say something about the kids, whatever, because there was a custody dispute in 2016, and she had him murdered by her new boo. And
Wow.
he was a big, burly looking guy, physical trainer, and so she likes him. She's a what is she? I don't know. Is she Chinese? Yeah, because her family from China. Yeah. So she's a Chinese woman, and she liked them good looking guys. And the story is someone came and murdered the guy because it was supposed to be some type of botched kidnapping. Now he wasn't the one that's rich, so that to me that just didn't make any sense, not at all. And what stands out is she's the person, if you ever heard, that had the largest bail um, in history, which was $35 million. That was her bail,
Wow.
and she was on house arrest for 2 years. So that's what that $35 million got her. And the jury, they deliberated and couldn't find her guilty, and they had to let her go. So she's only
Wow.
seen her kids for on television screen on a monitor. She haven't seen them in 2 years.
Mm.
And the guy said that he actually is the one that buried the body. So the guy turned on her, um, But,
Mm.
all in all, they didn't call him for a witness. That's the funny part. They didn't call him as a witness because he called somebody else that was part of the case, and they arrested him for that. And they just, for whatever reason, said, "Oh, he's not going to be a good witness, and we're not going to use him to say that, hey, he's the one who buried the body. So we're just going to ignore him altogether."
Oh,
So when I
wow.
was reading the story, and I'm like, okay, unfortunately, I do believe she had something to do with this guy being murdered.
Hmm.
I really do. It doesn't make any sense. Someone came in to her estate to kidnap him because they didn't see her. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm wondering
Right.
what's going to happen after that. That's what I'm interested in because I'm always the person, I want to see the end result.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where do they go at this point now? But you're saying they couldn't find her guilty, so was it like a mistrial and they're starting again, or like, how does that work? Like,
It
she's
was
just found not guilty?
it was a hung jury. I believe that's what it was. So I remember
Mm,
saying 6 and 6.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they let her go. So they gotta go. So she went on, and I wonder how her life is going to be after that. Because of course the guy that she was with, um, he's no longer seeing her, of course. So just wondering how life's going to be and how her kids going to take to her,
Mm-hmm.
and just why. I mean, the man didn't want you anymore, or whatever it is. Why was murder an option?
Right.
That's what I want to know. Why do you want him gone from the face of the earth, out your children's life? What is that all about? Why?
I mean, okay. And listen, and I would say the same thing, even if she was a black woman. So please don't be like, well, if she was a black woman, you'd automatically condemn her because people like to do that. But I will say this. Now, we didn't get to hear all of the pertinent facts. And
Right.
I'm looking, and it looks like it was Keith Green, the black man.
Mhm.
Like, so, and then therefore, the boyfriend is the one who looks like he's part of some gang. Um,
Yeah.
Spanish from some gang. No, seriously. Um,
Mhm.
See, this is the problem. This is one thing that I can think of that actually happened where she actually might not really be guilty.
Okay.
Um, is that she's one of those, because okay, so rich women, right? So she's a rich woman, she's from a rich bratty family,
Mhm.
that lets her be a rich bratty aristocrat or whatever. She's used to, going into the histrionics and being a drama queen and lying basically to get sympathy and attention and validation and all that stuff, right? That's what she's done her whole life. um, Now, after having to be grown up with the kids and the husband and all that stuff, and that broke up, she's like, no, I want to walk on the wild side. She went back to her rebellious teenage ways and went found herself a real thug this time, right?
Yeah.
He's a real thug. He ain't playing. Um, and she came with her histrionics and her this and her that, not understanding that when you tell someone who's got teardrops somewhere on his body that your ex is harassing you or he put his hands on you or whatever, that man will take it as a personal threat to him. Like, you don't come for my woman like that.
Mhm.
And they don't take too kindly to that stuff, and they react violently to that stuff. Um,
True. True. Okay.
right? So now her stupid ass is in there lying to get attention and the histrionics and the validation and the hugs and the loving. And I feel so safe with you. I don't know what I would do without you. He's so scary, right? Not
Mhm.
understanding that she's basically giving green lighting the death of the man. She doesn't understand that because she's stupid and she thinks everything's a game, right? Because for her, thug life is a game. It's just something she's walking in for 5 seconds because it's fun and rebellious, and she's 16 again in her head. Um,
Right.
Only he ain't playing, so he decided to go fix a problem. because that's what he heard. There's a problem. This man is abusive as hell. That's what the only reason why they broke up, because she's a good woman otherwise. And blah 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 blah. And now he's threatening to kill her and all this stuff over. Now she's moving on and stuff. And so he went to go deal with the business, go deal with the problem. And then he got
Mm-hmm.
caught dealing with the problem. She was horrified and disgusted for real, because she actually didn't expect any of this to happen. Like, what kind of disgusting man kills another man, right? Like, did you
Okay.
think he was playing with the teardrops? I'm confused. Um, but apparently she did, and so she said, "I want nothing to do with this guy." And this guy went, "Oh, really? Okay, well, I'm going down now for you. Guess what? You're coming with me." Um,
Mm.
right now, and now the guy who buried the body, he knows the deal, so he knows what really happened. And what really happened wasn't some epic plan between her and him. It was, this guy took care of business. He knows the street stuff and all that stuff and whatever, so he knows what all of it was. So if you call him onto the stand, there's a good chance whatever his testimony was going to make it sound like had nothing to do with anything, and she didn't know, because she didn't know, and she had nothing to do with anything. Like, maybe one of the last things he said was, "Yo, and don't tell her it was me," or, "Don't tell her you know anything about this," or something like this. You know what I mean? Like one of those,
Okay.
between me and you, the guy's just gonna be gone. It's gonna be fine. And so
Uh-huh.
he
Okay.
knows that one thing too much, and so they couldn't put him on the stand. See, now that's where my mind went with the story. I don't know
Mm.
why, but that's what I created.
Oh, I like that. We can make that's two Lifetime movies we can make. My
Right?
theory and yours. I like that. All right. Let's get to writing.
Let's get it done. Okay, so what's your theory?
My theory is she is complicit in this. She wanted the dude gone because she couldn't get along with him. She couldn't keep him. He wanted to go because that was a nice looking guy. I'm sorry, but that dude was nice looking. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how she got him, but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Mm-hmm.
probably can lay it down, and that's why she got the next man that can lay it down. She liked the men that can lay it down. And
Mm-hmm.
she did do a little boo hoo, but it was go ahead and take care of this dude for me because he's trying to take my kids from me. And I'm gonna hook you up, baby. We together. That's what I'm thinking to happen. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking she's guilty of it because she had to get the man to the house. If they broke up, he ain't trying to see her. Hey, she lured him to the house, so she's guilty of that. And you know what happened, um, and you're gonna pretend you don't. You're wrong.
Mm-hmm. 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 All
You're
right.
wrong.
Fair point. Fair point. Because if she lured him to the house, or whatever, she, at the very least, let's say she didn't lure him. Let's say there was some whatever valid reason he was coming over, and Buddy over there knew he was coming over and laid in wait, let him come and drop off whatever, and then on his way out, grabbed him, snatched him up. There's no way, 100%. That's happening right outside your door after you close the door. There's no way you didn't hear it. So at the very least, you saw something. You knew
Hmm.
what was happening at that point. Now, you might have been scared, you might have been all kinds of things, I don't know. Or you weren't, you were happy it was happening and you had plausible deniability. I don't know. But either way, right? It comes down to you didn't say anything. So
Yeah.
how sad were you? How scared? How much did you want it to stop once it started? Like,
Yeah.
the man's life was disposable to you in some way, because you didn't call the police, you didn't tell him to stop, you didn't do anything. You're just like, well, it's already happening now, so
Hmm.
and that's at best. That's at best. Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't think, oh, it's the father of my children. None of that. So I'm like, So I'll just say she's guilty either way. You know, my theory or yours, she's still guilty. So.
hmm And you know what? I'm sorry, not to poke the bear here in Black YouTube, but this will poke the bear in Black YouTube. But um, I just fail. I just have to point out the fact that this is some rich little Asian woman, right? So they're submissive,
Hmm.
they're perfect. Oh, she's got money too. She's got everything going for her, and they would never do any fuckery. Blah 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 blah. And look at the story. This is a black man that this happened to. Look at the story. Listen to the theories we are coming up with. Listen to the facts of the case. Like, no, you're not safe from fuckery just because she's some little Asian girl or some little white girl or whatever the case is. Because, treachery and evil
Mm-hmm.
knows no bounds. Like it can come in any shape, size, and skin tone. That's just saying. Just saying. Like,
That's right. You black wherever you go, son. That's just the bottom line.
mm-hmm. Mm. Man, can you imagine? Like, these poor kids, these poor kids, you know, because I
Uh-huh.
mean, this hasn't been massively publicized, spread all over the place yet or whatever, but forever, this is what your family's tainted with.
Wow.
Right. And you think about the life they were probably being raised in though, because she's rich. She's
Mm-hmm.
like an aristocrat. She's rich. So the
Right.
life of privilege sort of they were being raised in up until this age. And I'm not sure how old they are now, but it ended that abruptly, and it ended because of this. So not only did it end, your mom's been gone for 2 years, your dad's gone forever, and it's because your mom tried to kill your dad, or your mom's shady ass thug boyfriend kills your dad. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like one way or the other. No matter how you look at it, their lives are forever changed. I'm sure her family has entirely disowned her by now, because she's brought shame upon their family. So that's it. Like, she just ruined basically these kids' lives, almost entirely,
Mm-hmm.
and set the course that direction so sharply left. Because what, like, what could he possibly have been doing that justified and warranted this?
Right.
When you are rich, you're a rich bitch. Like, really, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like calling her bitch like rich bitch, like, that saying, like, you're rich, girl. Like, you are rich and privileged and have, like, the life people dream of. What could he possibly have done that was worth risking throwing it all away?
Exactly. That's the father of your children. It was good when you were getting it. It's the
Right?
same man. The same man. He just don't want you anymore for whatever reason.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right. And now you have gangsta love. So, like, you're good. Like, everything should be fine, right? Like, you have ghetto superstar. You're fine. Move on. Let the man live. You live. Everyone's good. Like, what, he was threatening for custody? You know what day and age we live in, ma'am. You are rich as hell and you're a woman. No one's taking your kids from you. That the two fact, you are a woman and you are rich as hell. Short of you
Yeah.
being like some sociopath who just tries to make the kids do crack, no one's taking your kids from you no matter what they try. You knew that because you know the age that we live in. So stop it.
Hmm.
There's no way that could be the problem. Like, what is your issue?
Yeah. And I don't know because I'm not a mother, so I don't understand how a mother feels that if she shares custody with the father, if the children are with the dad away from her for half the time, how that affects her. That it's like she can't survive that. I mean, I don't get that. When you take the children somewhere to visit your side of the family, he's at work. Uh, he's not upset or crying. He's going to see you in whatever next week. So release
Mm-hmm.
your children to their dad, and you'll see them next week. You'll miss them. Like, hey, baby, how you guys? You had a good time? 'Cause she had two of them. You had a good time, kids? Oh, that's great. And now you got the
Mm-hmm.
kids back, and that's it.
Be
But
nice.
you risk everything for not seeing them at all because it's a possibility you could have not seen them ever again.
Right.
Locked you up forever. It's just ridiculous. Like I said, I've never had a child to come through my body, so I don't know that. I just don't know that. I'm told that it's different when you're a mother. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
there's I guess too much logic going on here, so uh, I don't have experience or nothing I can speak on that. But I would say,
Mhm.
think more logically. That is the father, regardless. That's his seed.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter you don't get along. He don't like you. You don't like him. Whatever the issue is, it is. He's the father. You're the mother.
Mhm.
That's not going to change.
Mhm. When I was growing up, my daddy could not stand my mother. Not even a little bit. Could not stand my mother. Like it is honestly okay. My mom can be annoying. She's got some annoying traits on her. Don't get me wrong, right? She's got it, but she's not a bad person. She's just you know irritating sometimes. But like but he couldn't stand her, and whatever his issue with her had nothing to do with me. But what I knew for sure is they did not get along with each other. They could not stand each
Mm,
other. My dad really did not like my mom. But despite that, they moved within 5 minutes walking distance from each other and shared me every other day and every other weekend. My whole childhood growing up. Um, Originally when they made this plan that they were going to do this, the
mhm.
apartment my dad was supposed to move into, in between of apartments at some point. It was something like that. Like we had to move from one apartment to another apartment, but in between there was like a dead zone space. And what did my mom do? She said, okay, fine, come live here. No, we don't speak to each other. We cannot work together or whatever, but my kid needs you. So fine, here you are. And then they
Okay,
shared me every other day and every other weekend inside of the same apartment, all living together. Because that's what you do. You make sacrifices for the sake of your kid, because it's not about you, it's about the kid, because you decided to bring this child into the world and then decided to keep custody of said kid. Because you could have just given these children away for adoption. You could have,
that's
you
true.
know,
It's an
you know,
option. Yes.
it's always an option. You don't believe in abortion. I mean, I actually can understand that because I don't either. Yes, I believe in premarital sex, so I understand it might not make sense, okay? But that's how I feel about it. But that being said, if you're not willing to make all the sacrifices necessary for parenthood, adoption, there you go. It's right there. But if you want to keep those kids, you don't put yourself first. You put the kids first. The end. It's simple.
Yeah,
And murdering a child, or murdering the child's father, is not putting them in their interest first, unless the father or the mother is doing something to those kids, like something bad to those kids. um that whatever, them being gone and not being part of the children's lives is never the best solution for those kids. It might be the best solution for you. Well, it hurts my every time I see him, I think about the woman he had sex with in our bed, and so my
oh
kids will
boy.
never see him again. No, that has nothing to do with the kids. Like, you
Right.
can find an intermediary then. Someone needs to come scoop those kids and do the transfer for you. Or there are centers you can bring your children to, sign them in, and then daddy comes and signs them out. Like, there's all kinds of solutions they've made to solve the million and one issues men and women have with each other. Find one and use that instead. But like, come on,
Right.
murder? Like, yeah, I don't even think it's divorce. Like, I'm pretty sure, the article I read said ex-lover, so it wasn't like ex-husband, it was like ex-lover. So it's not like, well, there was a messy divorce, he was going to get some of my money. Like, it was nothing like that. um you know was it a child support? Maybe it was a child support. Sharp, maybe it was a child support thing. What do you think about that?
Ah,
Right?
that's right.
Because it's normally not this way. But think of it, she's the rich heiress, and whatever, and he's a father.
Mm,
I don't know if she might not have had the custody or primary caretaker of the kids. It might have been him, and he might have been going for child support.
could
Hmm.
be. Uh-huh. Dun 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 dun.
Right?
The plot
Oh.
thickens.
Mm. Mm. Man, that's a whole third. There's a whole third Lifetime movie we can
Right.
make.
We're writing things over here, y'all.
Right? Like, It just made me realize that human beings are terrible. Like we are terrible people. Like we are sitting here having a lot of entertainment over someone else's huge tragedy. But it's like, come on. Like you can't write this stuff sometimes. Like really? Like what is it? It's like watching like a CSI or Law and Order episode, right? Like it's like I want to know. Oh, the plot thickens. Oh wait, no, now the plot thins. Oh, it thickens again, right? Like you're just like
Right. Wow. Could be.
right? That
That
I gotta
that's
look this
true.
up. Hold on, let me see. Tiffany Lee, right? Yeah, that's her name. Tiffany Lee. Let me look this up. Maybe they'll say something about the child support or the father had the custody. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we are two intelligent women. I'm pretty sure we can make a pretty good guess if we have all the facts.
Yes. Give me facts. More facts. Facts to the third
Mm,
power. Yes.
right? Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Wait. Green disappeared in April 2016 after meeting Lee at the Millbrae Pancake House. So they for sure met at a pancake house.
Oh
And then he
boy.
disappears. No one hears from him. And the next month, Green's body was found in a field in Sonoma County, dead from a single gunshot wound to the mouth.
Hmm.
And the authorities believe Green was killed in Lee's Hillsborough mansion. Okay.
Okay.
There's,
That's a little bit different than what I read.
oh, really?
Um. Yeah. He was killed at the house, but it had nothing to do with a pancake. I mean, restaurant. or anything,
Hmm.
meeting up there.
Oh. Oh, we need to hear the closing arguments. It says the prosecutor led jurors meticulously through a timeline that started when Lee and Green broke up in October 2015 to when Lee, Bayat, and a third suspect, Oliver Adela, were arrested in May 2016. So I'm guessing maybe people didn't know the whole outline of stuff. They just kind of knew ABC, that's it. And so maybe, through the details that are being released over the course of the case, the news is starting to find out more, like the Pancake House. Like, for example, they might not have known that they might not have. So Lee and Buddy, whatever, right? Like they might not have known that the prosecutors knew that he actually came to meet her at the Pancake House. Like they might not have known that at all, and so they were waiting to spring that on her during, the cross examining her, right? So you cross examine her and then be like, okay, so why did you meet him at the Pancake House that day though? Right? Like, I thought you said you haven't seen him in a week, right? Like they like to do stuff like that. So maybe that's why we didn't know. Hello? Uh oh. And I said, hey. Oh, uh oh. Okay, Char's computer froze. Okay, well then I'll just ramble until she gets back. We all know I love the sound of my own voice. Um, yeah, okay. So given that though, um, you're looking at the facts of this. I'm thinking that we don't have all of the facts here. The prosecutors told jurors that Lee's motive for the murder was a messy child custody lawsuit and that Lee's clear frustration led to anger about Green's constant request for money. See, money, by its motive, Abanto said, was his fear that Green would get back with Lee. That derailed the money train for Mr. Baya as long as he, Green, was alive. Um, yeah, so basically, there was nothing hard evidence wise to connect Lee to the murder. Everything is all circumstantial. But our idea that it might actually be a child support type thing or alimony type thing to an extent, that might actually be the issue. So it looks like Green was sitting there and saying, "Hey, listen, I need some money for the kids. Need some money for the kids. Need some money for the kids." Right? He was always needing money for these pesky children who like always need money for things. God, uh, and then I'm guessing like some women do. It's like, well, I need a little bit extra money too. I can't afford to pay for this house anymore by myself or whatever. And so, that's always coming out of her pocket. She's frustrated about it and whatnot. It's annoying for her, whatnot, blah, blah. And then what probably happened is, she got this new man. The new man's really expensive too. She can't afford to pay for both. So, instead of just not paying the new boyfriend money and bringing him on extravagant things and whatnot, she decided that it would be better for her to just not pay for her kids and her ex anymore. And that's what she told him. Like, you're on your own, buddy. Like, man up, get a job. I don't care. We'll put the kids in daycare or whatever. So it's not my problem, but figure it out. And so he said, all right, cool. Well, you know what? In that case, let's go to court. We're going to go to court. We're going to iron out the real custody then. And then it will be official that I have full custody. And at that point, then you will have no choice but to give me child support to help take care of your kids and the life you want your kids to be in, that I have to sit here and dedicate my whole life to trying to make happen. And at that point, she said, nah, nah, I don't really think I want to do that. I don't want to be committed for the next 18 years to have to pay for my kids. So it would be so much easier if he was gone. Uh, and then, of course, though, Bayat or whatever his name is, nah, he had no idea about all of this shady stuff and whatever that she was plotting. He was doing it for the love of her because, again, she probably lied. I mean, he's black, so it's so easy. Black man, he's angry, he's violent, he's scary, he's gonna kill me. I don't know what to do. Cry, 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 and there you go, done. We figured it out. So but that being said, she was technically, looking here, like this article says that she's actually not guilty, which means she's not going to be tried again. Double jeopardy attached already, so she can't be tried again. So even if we find a full on recording that proves she murdered this man on purpose, and she was totally involved, she's never going to prison for it. That's it. So basically, what she got for murdering a black man who, just made the mistake of having kids with her is 2 years on house arrest. That was her sentence because she's a rich Asian woman and he was black. Food for thought there. Just saying. I mean, it really gives you perspective though when you're hearing all of these people speaking about all of the major flaws with women in the black community as though those flaws are not 21st century and millennial issues, with women, with the feminism mindset, with the devaluation of men overall in society. Certainly, and I mean, I'm sure arguments can be made all the time. Well, hey, look at this woman and look at this particular case and look at this particular case. But we can do the same thing on the other side and use examples like this to prove, like, no, some women are just treacherous, right? Some women are really selfish. Some women have been brought up in, you know, this kind of period of time where, like, for example, a father spanking his daughter, it is called abuse by somehow or another. Like they think that literally men should never hit girls. Wait, wait. Hit girls? He's not hitting her. He's spanking her. It's discipline. You might hit your girlfriend. You don't hit your girlfriend. That's bad. Okay, I agree. But spanking your daughter is not abuse. But see, that's the problem. It's like all of these kind of rights and the role that men play in little girls and women's lives and whatever is slowly being devalued and taken away. And you know I that's not just with the black community. Honestly, that's not even necessarily just with the North American community or society these days. To be honest with you, You're starting to see it more and more. You're starting to see, even in cultures where, women can be stoned to death for stuff, you're starting to see some women say, nah, I'm cool with getting stoned to death, but first I'm taking my husband down with me. And I have actually read a couple news stories last year about that. And it's actually, how you want to do this to me? Cool, no problem. I'll bide my time, and then I'm going to slit your throat. And then, she tries to escape, and hopefully she doesn't get caught. But of course, she normally gets caught, and now they're going to stone her to death. She's good. She's going away in peace. So, the times are changing. Times are definitely changing. I'm not saying that this is a good thing. I'm saying this is a time that we should probably be taking to reevaluate some stuff, start to reevaluate how much we love and respect one another, and start to reevaluate what we deem to be, I guess, good woman qualities and traits and characteristics. Because Asian and from a great family and from money apparently is not the good quality woman everyone seems to think she is. Go figure. That's not to mention, though, the fact, and I've spoken to a few people who have said, like, people are crazy. My wife is nothing like a submissive, this and that. And of course, these are people I'm talking about who are married to Asian women. So, we have to take all these stereotypes with a very large grain of salt and realize that there are great examples and terrible examples, in every culture. So it'd be better for you to pick maybe a woman you can gauge a little bit better. You can read a little bit better. So if she's going to be hell on wheels, at least you know it's coming. If she's going to plot to murder you, again, at least you see it coming. I know. Crazy, but that's what I would want. Okay, so I know that's funny. Zero Char Willie's watching Char Willie. So now what would have, so you're, what would you do? So if your computer is frozen, so you can't shut down your computer because you might shut down the stream, but then you can't get back onto the stream. Okay, so what do we do then, Shar? So let me know. You let me know what we're supposed to do. I don't know. I feel like there's a big catch 22. Yeah, but I don't know. I just the more that I'm watching, whether it's television shows, like I'm watching Hell's Kitchen, and I'm up to, like, I think it's season 15 right now. I'm watching. And what I've noticed over the last couple seasons is that overall, the quality of the women that they have in the kitchen has changed dramatically. Now, yes, I did notice it about Black women first because I care more what Black women are portrayed like on TV. But I'm saying overall, the women are becoming, they're angrier, they're more violent. They curse a lot more at each other. They cry a lot less, interestingly enough. There's definitely been a change in the last few seasons. If you go back to the beginning, 15 years ago, and the quality of the women that were there, I mean, some of them might have cried if they were the emotional types, but the rest of them they're pretty chill. They were pretty cool. You don't really get a lot of the pretty chill, pretty cool ones anymore. And I think that isn't just because casting has changed. I think it's because society and the generation that is now being, on the show, they're a lot different than they used to be. All right. Well, I've never paid attention to exactly how Shar closes out the show because I did not expect for this to happen, but it's cool, y'all. I think I will end on that note because I did not prepare anything special to entertain and serenade you with this evening. But thank you all so much for coming and checking out NeoSector for Women. I do invite and encourage women who are listening right now. I know some of y'all are lurking in the background going, they probably don't want me up there. No, we do. We want you to come. We want to hear your opinions. We want you to speak your piece. We want you to bring your issues, your stories you want to talk about. You can let your hair down. This is all, women. That's it. It's just us. So we don't have to worry about what the men are thinking, or what the men are feeling, what the men are going to say, or what some man's going to jump on the panel and attack you about. Like, no, you can come here. You can speak freely. That's what it's for. Come on up here. I expect to see y'all next week. You know, I say this every week, but this time I'm serious. I better see you. You know who I'm talking to up here next week. Anyway, for the rest of y'all, thanks so much for coming. Have enjoy the rest of your weekend, y'all. Cheers.